Let's see. Who are we going to go with? Let's get me out of the way. Later. All right. So I pulled this out for you, Al. Turn Canteen.
That's
That's
yes,
cool.
yes. I remember you saying that you've made them in the past. Yeah, yeah.
Roman
That's
style.
much water and okay. You have a cork. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. I have it over there.
Very
I've been
nice.
teaching myself chasing the threads. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Does it hold liquid?
Until I drink it. Yeah, yeah, it definitely holds. It holds a little more than a pint of your bourbon or your whiskey
Yeah,
you want to put in
that's
the
pretty.
scotch.
That's,
So
that's pretty.
pulled that out to show you.
No, that's
All
yeah.
right.
You mentioned it. You mentioned it. That's nice.
All right, let's go to Mr. Slaughter. I see he's back.
Yes, I was
Dale.
back. I didn't expect you to be starting quite so early, but yeah, I'm here. Bring me up.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Keep bouncing around here.
I know
There you go.
computers are fun. Well, I got a couple items. This is a little maple bowl. I'm not sure exactly how big it is. It's not very big. Maybe 3 inches in diameter, inch and a half deep. And then I got another maple bowl. This one's an offset.
Very
Nice.
nice.
My first
Was the
attempt.
offset on purpose?
Yep, was my first attempt doing an
There you
offset.
go.
Looks good.
Now, how did you create the offset with Jim's Jim's gadget
No,
or?
no, I used a woodworm screw and I put two holes in it.
Okay.
I shaped I shaped the outside first with the woodworm screw in the center, and then I had an offset hole
Right.
for the woodworm screw so that I could make the tenon offset.
Yeah. That's nice. You did a nice job.
And the real fun part was getting the tenon off, and you can see where the tenon was offset if you look at the bottom a little bit.
Yeah, you're froze up.
But it
I'm
looks
not on
good.
my end. That's on your end.
Well, it is
No,
cold.
it's on your end.
Oh, yeah, it froze on my end for a moment, and then it's back.
Your end's always live.
And
Yeah,
then
It's all right.
I
I
got
see them
one
froze
more.
too.
It's a
Me too.
walnut bowl. It started out I was trying to make a hollow form, but I just don't have the right tools to do something very big hollow. This one, it's walnut one,
Can't see
and
it.
I guess it's because
You're
it's
Dale,
frozen.
Dale,
You're frozen,
Dale,
Dan.
Dale, you're froze. I'm gonna have
Oh,
to
we
come
see
back to
them.
you, okay?
okay.
All right, let's go with Ruby.
Okay, there. Okay, I played around
You're
with
not frozen.
cleaning up a couple pieces that were sitting around. So just a very shallow quilted maple bowl, and I put some feet on the bottom.
Nice.
But I like the
That's really
OG
nice.
shape that I resulted with on that.
Beautiful
And
wood too.
Yeah, I love that shape.
this was a footed bowl, a pedestal bowl. It's got a very white color. I think it's a maple. It must be a soft maple. Didn't do anything fancy to it. Normally I would put some beads or something in there, but the shape just seemed to lend itself more to just very clean, simple lines. So
Looks
I
beautiful.
left it that way.
Yeah, that was a good decision. That's pretty.
I think so too.
Very nice.
And then the one Wayne and I were talking about, in an hour, that's what I would burn.
Wow.
Oh my
Nice.
God.
Wow.
And it's nowhere near finished, but I could see taking the technique used on that, and that's just on a piece of plywood. I didn't even fine sand it or anything, but I could see taking that and putting that on the side of a vase or a bowl.
Sure.
And another one I found on Pinterest was that image, and I could take the same technique and take that image now and put that on the side of something.
Right.
Hey, Ruby, when you burn that, what kind of tool are you using?
Just a very simple wood burner. 90, I'd have to say almost 100% of it was done with just um, a flat tip, a shading tip. There weren't any fancy tips used in it at all.
Do you kind of pencil sketch it at first or,
Yeah, but I mean, something like that is very easy to pencil sketch in. Like that's, but I bet I did something similar. I ended up in a pastel pencil class and did something similar.
Mhm.
Oh, that's really pretty.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful. I mean, that's just, oh my God.
Beautiful work. Wow.
Very cool.
The eyes are pencil?
Yep, that's all.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
It looks just
Hey,
like you,
Ruby.
Ruby.
Oh, Ruby.
Hey, Ruby, next week,
Yes.
for next week's project, do a Harpy's eagle.
A Harpy's eagle.
Who's Harpy?
I think next week's not going to be a good week for me because I believe
Following week.
Doug's coming back to doing his live, so Wayne and I'll be tied up earworming for him. And then Wednesday, Theo Haralampu will be demonstrating for Record Power, so I'll be earworming for him, and a few other
Okay.
things are coming up.
Okay.
So we'll see you a lot then. We'll see you a lot.
All I'm hearing excuses, not solutions. All right. All right.
I'll put it on my list. You'll have to email me a reference photo.
Okay. Will do. Wonderful work.
But it just
All
shows
right.
you how you can take an idea from something else and then apply it to a piece that you've made. Like if you look way over there, that bowl with the puppy dog on it,
Right.
Yep.
that was one of the first bowls I ever turned. And the reason I started turning was to have something to paint on. So I painted that one and one other one with the hummingbird and the yellow flowers.
Because it was
It's
too easy to
just
go down the
the-
store and buy canvas, huh?
Yeah,
Well,
it's just it's a
I'm
different
just teasing. I'm
canvas.
teasing.
That's what it is.
If you walk around my house, though, the walls are already covered with canvases. Like you've got that one right there. I calligraphied
Yeah.
this one and the roses.
We get
I
it.
gotta move the camera, not the computer.
Ruby, I hope
Ruby,
you don't take this
everybody
as an
can go.
offense, but
No, we
it's
get it,
not fair
Ruby.
for one person to have so much skill.
No,
Are
and you know
incredible.
You know what? I'm going to disagree with that 100%, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Somebody who's never turned before, looking at some of the turnings that you guys do, would be just as impressed with your turnings. But you all started as beginners somewhere, somehow. And everything that you see that I've done, whether it's this carving, it's the painting, the turnings, they're all things that I learned how to do. And I started out from zero, same as anyone else.
Well,
The
you
thing
learned how
is
to do
that-
it.
The thing is that the more you do different things, you start adding to your repertoire of knowledge, and then you can start applying it in different situations. So it's a case of how bad you want to learn to do something and become better. Like instead of going to Florida for a vacation and lying on a beach for a week, I'd rather fly to France and take a wood turning class with someone like Alain Mayon.
I
To me,
know
it's
that
a better
you are
use of
great.
my time.
I'd like to take a class on learning how to even say his name.
Well, I'll work on that when you come over here, Steve.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great inspiration, Ruby. Great inspiration.
Well, that's good because
Absolutely incredible.
if an old lady can take this up and come up with this in an hour, I'm quite sure some of you young fellows can do that too.
How about an old man?
Yeah, how about
You're
an old man?
you're nowhere near as
Starting
old.
out from zero.
Well, you're not as old as Wayne and I, so you still have lots of time to learn.
I am.
Okay.
Thanks, Ruby.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Wayne, we were both there when they built the pyramids, right? We had
Yeah,
to supervise them.
No, I'm not.
yeah,
No.
we had to do the rollers for putting the stones on.
That's right. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been any.
Funny.
Okay, go on to somebody else, Dane. Oh, is he still there? Oh, Dave, you're up.
I'm up. Well, unlike Ruby, who started painting or started turning because she wanted to paint, I started turning because I can't paint worth a crap.
That's a beautiful little box.
But yeah, my grandson is away this week, so I've spent some time in the shop. Finally.
Oh, that's
Very
nice
nice.
too.
And there's a whole bunch of different styles. But you can see that I've had time in the shop.
Oh,
Nice boxes, Dave.
Yeah, thank you.
Very
And
nice, Dave.
thank you. I
Did
appreciate
you
it.
notice do you notice how things get better the more time you spend on them?
Yes.
yeah.
Well, the
Very
thing is,
nice.
the last one I did is the weirdest one. But
I like it.
I figured you could put your ring in the top while you're, you know,
Right.
it's
That's a
different.
good idea.
That's a great idea.
But yeah.
That's pretty stuff.
So I stayed busy. And Ruby, I even did a bowl.
All right.
Nice.
You did a lovely job on it too.
Oh,
That's
thank you.
pretty wood too.
But it's been a fun week, but I can't wait for him to get back. I'll miss him. But
Oh,
I made
see, you're being artistic there. You're exploring different shapes and forms.
oh yeah. Oh, I love the idea. I can't do two things at the same, you know, except for bowls. I never repeat myself usually. But yeah, I have a good eye, I think. But like I said, I can't paint worth a crap. But I've always wanted to. But I've tried and tried and tried, and it just, ugh.
You just have to find the right teacher, that's all.
Well, plus being colorblind doesn't help. So
You'd be surprised. I taught somebody who is colorblind.
well,
And they have colorblind glasses now.
yeah, I've tried those, and they I wasn't very satisfied with what with the
I
results.
tried on a pair that a friend of mine has because he's colorblind, and the colors just blew me away. They were phenomenal.
Yeah, I find that in terms of color enhancement, ordinary polarized glasses work just as well as those color correcting things did. Just didn't work.
Well, we'll teach you how to work in black and white then.
Well, but the thing is, I'm having a lot of fun working in shades of brown. I really love turning, and I have a blast
wrong with that
wherever I
at
get out
all.
there. Yeah,
No.
Well, they look really nice.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, they really do. They really do.
And you do realize that I'd tell you if they didn't.
I hope so.
Right, Matt?
Well, only if asked, Ruby. Only if asked. I've learned that lesson the hard way.
Well, the thing is, one of the things I appreciate about the dealer that I have some things in her art gallery is that she'll look at a piece and say, yes, you know, if it deserves a yes, I don't mind getting it because I'll learn something.
Yep, I like to know why too.
Yes,
So because that helps out a lot.
She'll go into detail about, well, this little piece right here, I mean, you know, it's not smooth, this curve isn't, it just, you know.
Yep,
Dave,
it's all good. It's all good.
I've been doing this a long time, and the one that goes, that'll be the one that sells first. Don't give up.
But
somebody walk in the door and love it.
But yeah. But I couldn't care less about sales, to be honest with you. So yeah,
good stuff.
I get in trouble with my dealer because I give away too much stuff.
It's all around the world, but
because I mean, the reactions of somebody, like there's a lady in my church during COVID. Of course, I had time in the shop, and I made a bunch of good sized bowls. And at the when the church started meeting again, I gave each of the ladies a nice bowl. You know, just basically because I had to get rid of them. But this one lady, she was an older lady, and she looked at me. She says, "This is for me." And she actually burst into tears, and it was just you can't sell anything and get a reward like that.
True that.
Yep, that's true.
I love that.
I recently did the same thing up at the nursing home, and problem is that then you need a towel to dry off from.
Sometimes.
But I really find giving stuff away to someone who appreciates it it's more fun than selling it, I think.
My customers just burst into tears when they have to part with the cash.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Dave. All right, let's go to Mr. Harbor.
All right. So I don't know if I've shown this before, but I'm going to show it again to start off with. So this is a vase that I've carved. And I know I've shown it in various and sundry pieces before, but it's all done now and painted, dry brush painted and so on. So, and this next one is it's not quite finished yet, but it's a work in progress. So I'm with Ruby. I add as many tools to my tool chest as I can. And I first got into wood turning because I have a Celtic art obsession. And I walked into a hobby store looking for things to paint that were round and looked at what they had there and said, geez, I can make stuff better than this. And that started my turning journey. So in feeding that Celtic art obsession, this is actually a vase. The wood is, I stained this. This is a recovery piece, okay? I stained this, and the blue didn't come out the way I wanted to. It looked splotchy. So I painted over it, and then I carved. All the white stuff is carved out of the paint.
Very nice.
And some of the blue, thank you. Some of the blue you can see, and you can see my Celtic knot roots. And some of the like one of these bits right here. There we go. Let me tilt it this way. This bit right here is that original coloring that was in the wood that way. So
wow.
So this is
you show some artistic believe me, you're very artistic with the way you're making those leafy, bring it up
it's all trained, Al. Okay, I had to teach myself how to draw and paint the Celtic knotwork, and I used books and references, and the curly bits are all freehand carved with with a basic sphere burr. But yeah, it's fun, and I wanted to try the sort of braided rope thing too, so I did that on the top part, and there's a little bit of a.
I noticed that part. Yeah.
So I'm glad I'm not following you tonight.
And I've learned a lot from it. And then I've got another piece that I've been working on like for 2 weeks carving, and this is a small box elder.
Oh my God!
Wow!
Wow! Oh, God, man.
Wow.
So I taught myself 2 textures on this. I taught myself this bit and then this bit here, and I was like, all right, how does that work? You know, what is this? What will this look like? And I'm real happy with this. So I've learned how to make some curved surfaces, and yeah, I'm delighted with this.
Newsletter.
People have been saying,
newsletter.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I gotta paint it first. Give me some time.
Beautiful. That stuff's gorgeous. How much time?
Thank you very much.
Did you say you spent 2 weeks on that? You say you spent 2 weeks on that last week?
Off and on, but I've been doing this piece. I turned this piece.
I'm looking at even the turning. I mean, the turning is just beautiful too.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. I mean, the turning doesn't take very long when you compare it to the carving. So it's like,
I understand, but I mean,
but Matt,
the turning
if the shape and form aren't right, it doesn't matter how much you paint or carve it, it's not going to look good.
You're absolutely right. Exactly. I completely agree. And I work, and this piece here, this one here, I'm really happy with the form on this one. I like the form. I like the way it conforms to the golden ratio. And
It's gorgeous.
I'm really happy with the shape on this, and I work on the shapes every time. Every piece I turn, I work on the shapes and the forms with. So, it's training. You're training yourself every time I step up to the lathe with a tool. I'm training myself to turn shapes and forms. So, thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate it.
Matt, I think that piece that you showed us, you were saying that you've still got to color it. I think it looks perfect, organic looking like that. It's almost shell-like.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
That's true.
I agree, Matt. You don't need to color that.
I know, but see, I turn this texture so that I can
need to color it. You need to color it.
Don't color it.
Don't.
You need to color it.
What kind of wood is it?
On it and it's done.
It's box elder. It's
Beautiful.
soft maple, Manitoba maple. It's box elder.
Beautiful. Nice job.
So
you could try just putting like a dark wash over it.
I just like the organic feel of it. It just really feels like something that like a creature rather than a tree.
And that's what I was going for. I mean, I've looked at a lot of people's work. I've looked at Ruby's work. I've looked at Greg Gallegos. I've looked at some of the things that Nick Agar does. There's a bunch of other people, Dixie Biggs and other people, and there's a lot of things that I want to try to incorporate. I'm not really imitating anybody, but I'm taking what people are doing and I'm taking how I want to express things. And it's like Ruby says, the more stuff you learn, the more you can do. And at some point, it all happens in the back of your head. And I keep, like I've told people, I keep notebooks so I could write things down when, I'll wake up in the middle of the night thinking about something and I got to write it down before I lose it, So thank you very much, everyone.
All right. Thanks, Matt. All right. Let's go to Ray. Hey, Ray.
Can y'all hear me? I've never played this
sir.
thing yet. Okay, cool. So I'm still new to the group and pretty new to turning. I've been turning about a year now. And this is one of my favorite ones that I've done recently. It's shagbark hickory. And I turned it green, so it's got, I don't know, I kind of like it when the bowls warp and shift and move around a little bit. And hickory is one of my favorite woods. I like the creamy colored sap color and the dark heartwood contrast. So I like that one.
Nice
then,
shape to
That
it.
also looks like it would make a great addition to the newsletter.
And then this one here was, man, it kind of turned like a burl, but it's a 280-year-old white oak. And this bowl, with it being really uneven, it about beat me to death. But I kind of had to cut out early because I've got a big bark inclusion that was starting to come apart on it. And I don't know, the camera doesn't really do it justice, but we counted the annual rings on it, and there was 280.
Wow.
That's cool. And then this one was a log I had kicking around in my backyard, a silver maple log that I got to spalt. I kind of just put it in a shaded area that got lots of moisture in it. And it was a crotch piece. It was really not fun to turn and get all the tear out of it. It really sucked, but I stuck with it and got a pretty decent finish on it.
No, it looks good.
Great.
They're pretty.
For one
Right.
year, for 1 year of turning, for 1 year of turning, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I have fun with it. I love it. It's become my new passion.
Watch and see
Very
what
nice work.
happens.
Thank you.
Just watch.
Did,
Just watch.
didn't
That's
anyone didn't anyone warn you when you started turning that it was highly addictive?
Nobody really
more
told
so,
me
more
anything.
so
I just
than
started
more
doing
so
it.
than cocaine.
It's almost become like that. Yeah.
Ray, I distinctly remember telling you and your wife in the meeting that this is a rabbit hole that you will never get out of. Once you're going down it, it's pretty deep. Yeah, Bob is saying the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You either love it
awesome.
or you hate it.
Yeah.
And if you love it, it's just a never-ending story.
Right? Yeah, you got that right.
All right, my wife likes about it is she knows where she can find me.
Yeah, better to be in the shop than be in the bar. So let's do two more. Let's do two more gallery, and then I want to get the demo started.
Okay.
The other day, a few weeks ago, on the Facebook forum, Kelly, I think it was Kelly, posted a picture of an apple, and
yes.
Matt chimed in and said something about an apple box, and I said, "Sounds like a challenge." And Matt said, "Oh no, I've made a bunch of them." Well,
true story.
It is. So I had to step in, and I made a little apple box for the stem, and it's got a nice fit. For the stem, I used a twig. I didn't want to turn a piece of wood and put in it. I used a twig, and for the bottom, pardon?
Did you use a clove?
Yeah, for the bottom, I used a clove.
There
you go.
And it make it the.
Did you core it out?
It's hollowed. I didn't. Yeah, it's hollowed.
You cored it out.
And I didn't core it, but there was. You can see there's a hole.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't there when I started turning, but it showed up. So I thought, well, let's have some fun with it. And
right, there you go.
I laser cut this little caterpillar and put him by the hole.
I love it.
So
great idea.
Right.
Yeah.
So so I laser cut him and then painted him. And it's kind of like painting by numbers, so it was easy for me because I'm not a good painter either. If I need something painted, I'll call my granddaughter. She is awesome. But anyway, that's what I've got this week.
Well
right on. Thanks, Billy.
Well done, Billy.
Well done.
For your next apple with a wormhole in it, you need to have the worm coming out of the hole.
Yeah, my son-in-law told me that. My daughter told me that. My wife told me that. So I got.
And worms are round, Billy. They might be a little off, multi-axis, but they're round. You can turn them.
I got to screw my head around that one and see what I can come up with.
It won't be too hard.
Thank you, everybody.
Only half a worm comes out of a turning.
That's right.
Yeah, we're going to do Paul next in case he needs to go to sleep.
Not too soon, hopefully. Yeah, I've got a few things to show. Some of which I made last week, and one I made tonight. Actually, I did a demo at my local club, so I'll show you that one as well. This one's the first one. It's oak. The outside is ebonized vinegar wire wall solution with a blue sort of electric blue, I think it is. Grain fill on that. So
yeah, looks good.
Just a bit different on the shape.
Nice.
Yeah, natural wood on the inside. Then I've got this one, which is ash, beaded on the outside, and that was painted black with ebonizing lacquer, and it's got a green grain fill on that one and natural wood on the inside.
Very nice.
Well done.
I love the green on that. Very nice.
Yeah, I quite like the green. It's not what color I normally use, but yeah, I did that for something different. And there's this one which is oak. It had a couple of cracks in it, so it was a bit. I thought, well, what can I do with it? So I scorched it. If in doubt, get the blowtorch out. Is my motto, I think, on these. So that was heavily scorched, then wire brushed, and then just for good measure, I thought, well, I'll scorch it again. So scorched twice, and then a bit of lacquer over there just to sort of hold the surface together because it's all scorched basically. So
that's really cool.
You can see the way the light's picking it up. It sort of really picked up the texture of the wood.
Oh yeah.
And I quite like that, quite tactile. There's a few cracks in it because
I like that shape. I like that shape.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite sort of an undercut inside, but yeah, so it's a bit of a more challenging bowl shape to do, I suppose. But yeah, it came out okay.
Much more interesting. Much more interesting.
Yeah, I quite like that one. But yeah, I was a bit unsure what to do with it, but I thought, well, as I said, if in doubt, get the blowtorch out. So that's what I ended up with. Then I've got this one, which has been kicking around in my workshop for an awful long time. It started off as a demo piece, but I ended up pretty much returning every surface on it anyway. So it's a shallowish platter. The outside on the rim, I've used a grain fill on that. This is ash. And the grain fill I used, where I live in the Forest of Dean in Gloucestershire in the UK, it's an area that historically there used to be iron sort of workings, iron mines going back to the Iron Age. And there's one mine where they still mine a bit of ore, just on a sort of almost on a hobby sort of scale, really. It's not a big commercial production, but they also mine ochre pigments, which they sell to artists. And this grain fill is some of the ochre pigment that they've mined from that mine, which is sort of 10 miles down the road from me. So it comes as powder, it's just powdered rock basically. And it's got a bit of a browny sort of purpley hue. You can't really see the purple but on the camera, but it's sort of slight purple hue to it. And all I did was mix it with a bit of paste wax, put it in like you do a normal sort of grain fill, and come out like that. And I quite like that one because it's quite an earthy sort of colour.
That's cool.
So just something a bit different for a grain fill. And then the one I did tonight was this one. So that's a bit of London plane. Very much like the American sycamore, I suppose, in terms of its figure, but quarter saw
it's actually
that figure across the bottom of it.
Right.
No,
Really,
a lot more figure than ours.
Yeah, nice piece of wood. So just did a fairly simple bowl with it. But yeah, that's from tonight's demo at my club.
Well done.
Yeah, I love that quarter saw figure you get from that and sycamore.
Very nice.
And one more. I haven't got the piece to show you because I had to send it off, but I made a platter last week. It was to replace an award. The guy contacted me, and his daughter had won this award at school, and it was a platter made by Ray Key. Ray obviously is no longer with us. He passed away a few years ago. And when the platter, she got to keep it for a year, and when it went back to the school, he said, could I make a replacement platter that she should keep forever? So I made this platter, and as part of the process, he said, can we come and watch you make it? First time really someone's actually requested that. So what I did in the end, because he's got his own company, this guy, and is busy, and we were having trouble pinning the date now. So I said, how about I'll just do it, I'll record it and send you a copy, or we'll do a Zoom, and that way you don't have to spend time traveling. You can just watch it at home and save a couple of hours that way, because he's about an hour and a half away from me, I think. So that's what we did in the end. So last week we did a Zoom, sort of 2-hour Zoom session. I turned this platter and finished it with him and his family watching, and along with the platter, I sent them a USB stick with a video on it. So they were quite sort of pleased to be involved in the making process as well. And as I say, it's a first for me, but perhaps something I'll offer to some future customers.
Yeah, right. You might have a new niche.
Well, but I've also edited the video and compressed it. It started off as nearly 2 hours, I took out some of the gaps and where I was stopping to talk to them to explain what was going on, and then I've trimmed it a bit more and actually speeded it up. So I'm just going to put a link into the chat if anyone wants to go and watch it. That's sort of the whole thing squeezed into about just under 10 minutes. So if you want to watch that one, there's the link for it.
Nice. Very cool, Paul.
Thank you very much. That's all I've got.
All right. Well, much appreciative.
Thank you.
All right. So with that, let's see. Do we have Safety Sue with us tonight?
Sorry, Bob. I guess we're going into the demo.
Yeah, that's okay. Sure.
No, it's fine, Bob. We already got you up, so let's go ahead and go with it then, Bob.
All right. I have a couple of things here. Let me see if I can turn a light on. Maybe it'll help. Whoops, where's the camera at? Right. So I turned a couple of little boxes here. This one is a little ring box, but what do they call it? A basket illusion.
Nice.
And, just a little bitty thing.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice,
that's
Bob.
a crack. That's actually, this is all end grain, so the crack was going sideways down this thing. But that one there turned out pretty good. And then this week I turned this one. This is some more of the basket weave looking stuff with Molly.
Cool.
Molly, forgotten what her
Molly
name is.
Winton.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
I love it.
And that turned out real good. But the problem with it, I had when I burn it, it actually bled through on the inside. Where he's forcing the steam of the smoke and stuff. Well, it came out with little dots on the inside, both that and the lid. And I thought, well, I'll just try the deal that Cage showed us last week at Classic Monet, and I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, like that.
Looks awesome.
Yeah, and the top I thought was a little darker, but it still turned out all right. But I do like the inside, and of course the bottom turned out fine. But that's all I got. I just got two little ring boxes I wanted to show everybody.
Very nice.
Two beautiful little ring boxes.
Well done.
All right. Well, thanks. Yeah, I like that Molly Winton burn. I really like that. That turns out it's unusual, and it when you're doing it, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like it's very straight. But when you get it painted, nobody cares because the texture just gives it texture, and it made it look good.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Thanks. That's all I got, guys.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
Yep.
All right. So let's go to Ireland. Mr. Steve Todell is going to be doing our demonstration for this evening. Steve's demo, typical housekeeping. Keep all our comments and questions, either put them in the chat during tool changeovers, or unless Steve sequesters questions during the demo. Otherwise, we will make our comments and questions at the end of the demo. So with that, I am going to mute everybody. Steve, you will need to unmute yourself.
Hey.
Let's mute all.
Start popping up on all the front pages.
Okie dokie. Hello, it's me again. There's a bit of sound. I don't know. Someone must have their mic on still, or I'm getting feedback.
No, we got them all fixed. You're all set.
Okay, perfect. That's great. All right, so I'm going to do a well, I'll show you this first. This is kind of what I'm working on at the moment. I can't show you other stuff because it's kind of club stuff and I'm not allowed to show it yet. But I'm working on this kind of these kind of forms at the moment. Oh, that's weird.
That's all you, Steve.
Is it?
Yeah.
1 second. Let me Okay. Is that better?
We're not hearing that funny noise now.
Okay, cool. That was weird. I don't know why it was doing that. I've got no other devices on other than Zoom with my microphone. So we'll carry on. As I was saying, I'm working on this kind of form at the moment, playing with different shapes. I'm going to be doing some texture, but that's kind of a sphere on different axes and stuff. So I'm working on that. That's the next one that I'm working on. So that's kind of the stuff that I'm working on. But for this evening, I'm going to demonstrate if it's not super intricate. It's a toy that I make for kids. We all make spinning tops, but what I do when I make spinning tops, I make little battle domes, which is kind of a dish shaped dome that the kids can have spinning top battles in. So I'm going to make one of those this evening if I can. It's a long time since I made one, but we'll crack on and give it a go. This is a 12-inch square piece of, I believe, that this is cedar, but I'm not 100% sure. It's mystery wood anyway. It's a bit weird on this side, but we're going to be turning that away. I'm going to start by turning a mortise on this side. I'm going to flip it. I've only got it between centers on a step drive on the other side. I'm just going to turn a mortise into this, flip it, and then we'll start shaping it and playing with it. If I have time, I'll do what I normally do. It's a double-sided dome. So on one side, you kind of have little obstacles and things that can annoy the tops as they're spinning. And the other side is just a flat dome where they can have a straightforward battle. So we'll get bashing anyway. And we'll turn a mortise in there. Okay. Now I just want to set this other camera while I'm here. Just excuse me while I mess about with this, but I just want to have this one as well. We might go with that one for now. Now I didn't want to put a faceplate on this because I didn't want to lose too much of my thickness with the length of screws. I didn't want to be messing with screws and the chance of hitting them and stuff like that. Okay, that should be good enough for that. I think this is just as good as any if you wanted to do a mortise, as long as you've got a good step drive to hold it. I'm just going to get rid of some of that central bit just so that it doesn't impede on our chuck. Just going to reduce it down a bit. And when we spin it around, we'll be getting rid of that anyway. Okay. So we'll take that off and we'll put it, hopefully, in the chuck.
Hey, Steve, did you undercut that recess?
Very, very slightly, but my the chuck that I'm using isn't dovetail. It's
straight jaws.
Yeah, it's a straight jaws, but it also has ring grips on it.
Uh-huh. And what tool was that? Was that basic parting tool?
That was just a basic straight parting tool, not a diamond tool at all. It was just a straight parting tool. That's all it is. Just show you that. Just a straight parting tool.
Thank you.
Parting beading tool, as they should be called.
Yep, I learned that on here from you guys, maybe from Martin.
Yeah. Okay. Get the right chuck key. That's the trouble when you have many chucks. You have many keys. Now I'm just going to hold this loosely in the chuck to start with. And I'll bring my center up again and just kind of push it back onto the chuck. Just to get everything centered back up again. Okay. Get it seated nicely into the chuck so that we can get a good grip on it. And then those grip rings should dig into the wood enough to get a good hold on it. Now, I'm not really particularly, I would be a tenon man rather than a mortise, but for this particular job, it kind of makes sense rather than losing some of the thickness of the wood. Here we go. So I'm going to leave my tailstock up just while I turn it round. I was going to do it square. I do turn these square sometimes with a dome in the center. But because it's such a weird shaped piece of wood, I decided I'll go round with this one. Okay. One. Okay. Now I'm going to go with my big bowl gouge. This has the fingernail grind on it. Ooh, easy, tiger. So I'm just going to start taking some of this edge away from here. Once we get it round, then hopefully we can bring the speed up a little bit. Well, I'm not getting any smell from this, so I don't think it is cedar now. Not too worried about facing it off at the moment. I'm just getting rid of the square corners. We'll face it off when we start shaping it in a second. We're pretty good. We're kind of starting to hit all edges now. Now I'm going to be using a cold jaws setup when I spin it later on. And my cold jaws are the maximum I can go is 10.5 inches. So we're going to stick to that size just for tonight. If I wanted to do a bigger one, I would generally do a glue block on a plate and do it that way. And I turn it outboard. I mean, I can do an 18-inch swing on this lathe. So now we've pretty much got rid of all the corners there. So let's come out and spin our tool rest a little bit so we can start getting rid of the rest of this. Always spin it by hand before you turn the lathe on. Otherwise you can get a nasty surprise. Let's see if we can get the tool. Presentation. Well, I just take little nibbles away from this. I don't take big cuts. If you take big cuts away, there's more chance of it digging in and getting a catch. And that puts it under pressure on the chuck. That bit of wood didn't taste very nice. Hate it when it bounces down underneath the shield and goes straight into your mouth. Now, there's different ways of rounding off a piece of wood like this. This is just my preferred way of doing it. Ideally, I would have cut the corners off with the bandsaw, but I broke my blade earlier, so. And no one likes changing a blade on a bandsaw. I put that one off. I mean, what I could do, we'll have a look at it in a second. We could do, because I only need to hold it one side in the cold jaws, we could do square on top, and no, it's not going to work because it's a bit funky on one side. So we've nearly got rid of all that. Come closer again to it. Now this is very, very, very dry wood. I've had this piece of wood for a long, long time. Now I've got to mark the other side to how big I can go, or how small I need to turn it down to. Now we're cutting nicely. Now we've got rid of all our edges. Bit sketchy there where the odd shaped bit of wood is, so I just work the small nips rather than taking big chunks, and we can get that later on when we're spinning it around. We should be able to put a bit more speed on this now. Still got quite a bit to take off the edge to get it down to the size I want. And my son had a go at turning. My older son had a go at turning the other day. And he was just doing a bit of spindle turning. I was working on the smaller lathe and he was working on something on this. And he started saying, ow, 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 ow. And I said, what's wrong with you? And he said, the wood's really hot that's hitting my hand. He said, really, it's burning my hand. I said, well, go sharpen your tool then, son. I said, because if that tool's cutting, it shouldn't be causing friction. It shouldn't be burnishing the wood, and it shouldn't be heating the wood up so badly that it's burning your hands. And sure enough, he sharpened his tool and all was good in the world again. Okay, that's pretty good. I just want to check what size we are. Like I say, 10 and a half is the biggest we can go. We've still got a bit to go, but I'm going to face the front off now just to get a little bit more true-ness in the wood. I'll do that with a bit of a pull cut. Now, this original piece of wood was warped all over the place, had different shapes, and one of those pieces of wood, we've all got them, that gets kicked around, moved around, and you look at it and you say, oh, I'll use that eventually one day. And then you move it again, and then you lose it for 6 months, and then you find it again. Today's the day, piece of wood.
It's like an ill-gotten Christmas present.
Yeah. I mean, usually when I do that and I finally do use the piece of wood, it ends up as a piece of junk and smashing all over the place anyway. But so I'm just getting rid of some of this bulk in the center, because obviously we've got to dome this, concave this while I have the tailstock, just for a bit of extra support. And once we get it shaped, we'll be good. All right, got a flatter surface on the front now. It's actually a pretty piece of wood, that.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, so I'm going to get my final size. I'm just going to measure my cold jaws again, just to make sure I'm right. Yeah, 10.5 inches is where we're going to go. So we're at 11.5, so we need to take a 1/2 inch each side. Will be good. All right. Yeah, 10.5. Yeah, that'll be good. Sorry, did someone ask a question there? Or?
No, somebody unmuted themselves and they meant to keep it muted.
How very dare them.
Well, I did dare, Steve.
You're fired. All right, let's get rid of this bulky bulk. And like I say, I only need it to be 10.5 on one side. On this side, in theory, because we'll be flipping it around. So we can have a slightly wider side on the other side, considering this will be a double-sided toy. I always find when you're making toys for kids, the more exciting and changeable you can make them, the more interesting the kid will be, and the less chance they'll have of plugging in the PlayStation. So we could maybe put a bit of a shape on this. We'll have a look on what the other side, because we're going to be taking quite a lot off the other side to get the dome, to get rid of that chunky chunk. But I think that'll be fine. That's plenty enough for me to put into my grips on the cold jaws. And we're just about where we need to be there. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to just put a little undercut on that, so it's kind of nice for the fingers to fit on that. just rounding the, I'll change the camera for you. So what I'm doing is I'm just using the very tip of the tool to make a cove in underneath that lip, and using the whole front of that blade to cut and bringing it round. Just like that, and that'll give a, and what we'll do is, because that'll be sharp, we don't want any sore fingers, we'll just round that edge off there. Now the rest of that we'll get with sandpaper. I just want to flatten that a little bit more, so that our jaws bite onto that. There we go. All right, that's a nice cut along that edge now. And then we've got a nice little lip that the fingers go in underneath, and especially little fingers. All right, so now we're going to do a shape on this. Now this side, I think we're just going to make it our straight battle dome without any kind of dips or bumps or anything like that. We're going to just have a straight traditional battle dome where the kids can just spin their tops and they can battle without having any obstacles. So now I've got it to that, I'm going to get my chuck key again, and because I'm taking away the tailstock, because we've done a lot of pressure work on this and it's done a lot of wobbling, I just want to make sure that my jaws are still holding fast. Just give them a final little tighten up, because the vibration could have loosened off the bowl, especially when it's a mortise. I don't like mortises. I don't trust them 100%, to be honest with you. But that's just me. Some people swear by them. Okay, sorry, I'm getting in the way of the camera. All right, so we're just gonna move our tool rest, get it at a better position, showing good cutting. All right, we're going to get rid of the nubbity nub, and then we're going to get like a nice, we don't want to make it too severe of a dip in this, because what will happen is when the kids start off spinning up here, the tops will just go straight to the middle and smack into each other and fall out. We also want it in a way that there's a bit of a bumper inside, so we're going to go in and then dome it, so we've got a little bit of a wall for the battle dome inside.
Steve, how thick was the piece that you started with?
It was 2 inches.
2 inches.
Or 50 mil in proper measurements.
Yes, 50 mil in proper measurements. I agree.
So I'm just going to get rid of this nubbity nub. But you can do a single-sided one. You know, you can do an inch, and you can use a piece of wood that's an inch, as long as you get a bit of a dip in it. You can kind of use any piece of wood. All right, so now what we're going to do is, I want to, if I can, there's still a bit of a wobble, but I'm going to live with that. So I'm going to come in here. I want about probably a 1/4 of an inch wall, and I'm going to start cutting down here like this and start cutting in. I want to try and get my battle dome wall and then we can go by that then. So I'm going to go in there with my parting tool because I do want an actual lip. Can you see that? All right, you can. The light's okay. You probably don't need any light. Let me put the light on. You can tell me if that probably will flush it out. Probably will white it out.
We can see it pretty good, Steve.
Okay, I won't bother with the light. Sometimes that just washes it out. Now I am a little bit high for this, but it's detail work I'm doing, so not necessarily, I don't have to worry about like a cutting line for the parting tool, so I can get away without adjusting my. I'm just going to come in here to the width I want. I think that's good. We'll stay with that. Now, the height of your wall is determined on what kind of spinning tops you make, obviously. What shape spinning tops. Because if you make some with a real high curve on them, then they could tip off that and topple over. So, you know, you can make it as deep or as high a wall as you want. For now, that'll do me. And I'm going to use my beading parting tool and I'm going to turn that into just a rounded edge. No sharp edges for kids. That's okay. I can clean the rest of that up with the gouge in a second. Okay, so now we need to get rid of all that bulk. And we can do that quite quickly with a push cut, peeling cut, or whatever cut you want to call that. I don't know if any of you had spinning top battle domes when you were kids. They used to make them and sell them. You used to get 4 spinning tops and a battle dome back in the 80s. Right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to get my straight edge across the front face. I want to see where I am. So at the moment, move this camera. Not sure if that will. So at the moment, I'm pretty much the same distance right across. There's no real dip in it. And like I say, you want a very, very shallow dip. You don't want it to be steep. So I'm going to go from the middle now. I'm going to do a pull cut and I'm going to slowly go down into the middle. And slowly bring that up. Now, when you've got that wall there, it can make it a bit difficult to get in there without catching a wing. You have to be very, very careful. You can start with your tool facing up, and you can bring it round. Just like, oh, you're not seeing the good man, Steve. Not showing the tool. I'll show you that again. I'll put a bit of light there. Now that it's a bit dark with the tool rest. There you go. So I come in with the flute facing up near enough. Pick up my cut on just inside the wall. And slowly twist the tool around. Like that. Now, I don't know if there's a knot just there, but I can feel it. We've got a bit of an inclusion there. I could feel that. And a knot there. Slight knot. So you can feel it in the tool when it bounces. But also I have the odd shape on the other side, which is also giving it a little bit of vibration too. All right. Have a look at my straight edge again. Doopy doopy doop. Where's my other? There it is. I found my other doodah, dippy ding dong. All these technical terms, you'll get to learn them. So I am 12 mil in the center, and I am 8 mil on the outer edge. So it's dropping down about 4 mil, which is pretty good. That's pretty much where I want it to be. You don't want, like I say, you don't want a massive dip. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to clean that up. Weapon of choice.
Drum roll, please.
Yeah, I don't have negative rakes. I don't, because my skews are negative rakes. Pretty much. So I'm just going to clean up that face with skew. Excuse me. I'm in the way. Let me change it to that one. Sorry about the camera changing. It's been a while since I've demonstrated.
Oh, you've been doing well. Muscle memory.
Yeah. Well, I do TikTok lives, but that's only one camera. You don't have to worry about camera changes. Now you're lucky because this is very much out of my comfort zone. I'm not a faceplate turner at all. It's very rare you'll see me turning bowls, or I'm predominantly a spindle turner, and a wonky one at that. Now it's just that little tool mark there I want to get rid of, so I'm just And you don't want, so you want it to be as flat as possible as well. You don't want any kind of lumps and bumps because spinning tops don't like those. It's not too bad. Get the rest of that with sanding. That's pretty good. All right, so what I do then, well, actually, do you know what? We'll give that a quick sand before I do the start ring. So what I do is I put just a ring at the side, and that's kind of the rule that you have to start your spinning top in or around that kind of ring, that you have to start it there so that you're not allowed to kind of start in the center, so that the two tops can come down and bash into each other. So we're going to use the drill, and we'll do a quick sand. I'm not going to over sand this just for the fact of time. I always forget how much time your demos are. Make sure you let me know if I'm getting a little bit.
We're really flexible.
You're
we're
doing
really
fine.
flexible, Steve.
Okay, cool. I got a new order of sanding pads, and I haven't put them in order yet, so we'll work it. Nope, not them ones. I'd have to be a really good wood turner to start at 320, wouldn't I?
Yeah. Definitely doable, Steve.
Yeah, we all would love to get to that stage in our careers. Now I'll turn that down a little bit. And we'll do.
I'm lucky when I can start at 120.
Like I say, I'll just get this to smooth so it works. And the good thing about the dome, these domes, now maybe not this side. I will have to finish sanding this side actually, because once I flip it, well, I suppose I could turn it down to the same size of this side. It'd be just nice to have two different sizes for each side. The good thing about these being reversible is that you have two battle domes, and kids like having two of everything. Choices. So the trick when you're power sanding like this is you have your drill spinning in the opposite direction to the lathe spinning. It doesn't tend to rip off the Velcro as much. And it cuts a lot better, I find anyway. I suppose it's down to personal preference too. Some people don't like power sanding either. Got all sorts of character in that piece of wood. It's very pretty.
Are you going to color it?
Yeah, we'll just put some oil on it.
Okay.
I'm not really a color man. I have experimented, but what is it? I'm round and brown. Is that it? Is that what the?
There you go.
I tend to be wobbly round and brown though. Yeah, we can put a little bit of shape on this edge as well. while we've got the slightly higher grit or lower grit, however you want to say it. It's nice. It's nice when it's nice. My driller started getting that clanky sound of death that all cordless drills get after a while, when all the bearings and the insides start feeling like my bones do sometimes.
Yeah, the windings let you know.
Yeah. All right, that's good. We've got a nice. There's some feathering and all sorts in that. So I like it. What do you know? That piece of wood that's been used for putting car jacks on and holding up benches, and it's redeeming itself. Now we'll go to one more grit just for that was what was that? That was 100. We go to yeah. Not that one anyway. Do 120. Now, while I'm doing a bit of sanding, feel free to either put questions in the chat and Dane can read them out, or
so just for clarification, what was the slope on the dome there? Was it 12
I
to
went
8
so
mil?
I went from there's a 4 mil drop from the outside edge to the center. Now it was before I got the skew in there. It might have changed just a little bit because obviously when you're taking some of the dome, but I can give you a final measurement. So on the outside, I am, I'm 7 on the outside, and in the center, I'm 13 now. I've sanded it. So there's a significant dip, even though it doesn't look like it, but it's enough to cause the tops when they're spinning to wander their way back down to the center. And I can give you actually, while I'm doing measurements, I'll give you a measurement of the height of my wall that I have. The height of my wall is 8 millimeters. You can do the math to old-fashioned measurements. Okay.
Approximately 3/8 of an inch.
And like I say, you can make that what you want. I mean, the other thing is as well, with it being a toy, it's smooth enough, right? You don't need it to be showroom finish, because it's something that you can buff up again and re-oil if you need to.
Would you fill the cracks, Steve?
Sorry?
Would you fill the cracks?
There isn't any cracks in that.
Oh, okay.
It's all
But if
grain.
you had it, a piece,
yeah. Well, it depends, because the cracks can add to the battle sometimes.
add to the gamemanship. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to do on the flip side. If I have time, is we're going to put a few rings and bumps and things like that in it that add to the battle. That if they hit a bump, it sends the top a different direction and stuff like that. So it kind of adds to a different part of the game. So I'm just going to get another pad here that's not on the drill, and I'm just going to get that inside edge that I can't get with a drill. And to be honest with you, this one will just be used with my kids anyway. They need a new one anyway, because my son, being so generous, he brought his round his friend's house, and his friend liked it so much that he said, well, my dad can just make a new one. You can have this one.
Yeah, I've heard that expression many times.
I love that though. I love it when a kid does that.
Right.
That's good. All right, so that's sanded enough for what I want to do on that side. Now, like I said, I just want to put a starting ring. It's like, you don't have to do this, but it's just like a little rule that you can put into it. So you can come just probably about 5 million from where you're. Put a little ring there, and then you just go about a 10 mil space, put another ring there. Just a little V cut is all it is. And what you say is you have to start your top just there, boom, and it just puts a little bit of a detail in it. That's where you start it, and then it wanders down. That's all that you do with that. I'm not going to super sand that. I'm just going to grab some shavings, and I'm just going to deburr those grooves.
Steve, how are the
Yes?
tops spun on? How are the tops spun on there? Is it with a string or a gun?
Just
or
by hand.
By
Just
hand.
by hand. Yeah.
Nothing complicated, right?
No, for this one, I mean, you can make the tops that you spin with a handle. They'll work as well. You've just got to be pretty accurate when you shoot it onto there, like, you know. But my kids, they just love they're actually experts at spinning tops at this stage. They've had so many made for them. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do that side. That's just a box standard basic battle dome with a slight dip in it. So what we're going to do now is, hopefully, we're going to well, do you know what, guys? I'm going to work on this edge just a little bit before I take it out the chuck. And I'm going to clean up this edge. Is what I'm going to do. Now, I've been working this side, so if the bowl was to come off, I'm not in the line of fire. Now I'm going to swap over to this side, and I'm going to cut this way. Again, not in the line of fire. If it was to come off, it's going to go past me.
Can we switch
Hopefully.
cameras by any chance?
Yes, we can do. Hold on, we can do that one. Is that better? Or
Well,
there is that one.
How about the overhead so we can see what
Overhead?
you're doing on
Yeah,
that side?
yeah. So what I can do is I can actually
Sorry.
lift. No, don't. Not at all. I'd rather you get the better view. My overhead is movable.
There we go. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it looks
So
great.
I can do that. So I'm coming over this side now. I was working this side and I was cutting this way and I was working on the front face there. I've come over to the other side of the bowl now and I'm just going to clean up this front edge. But again, I'm not, you see a lot of people standing right in the front of, let me see if I can do this.
Oh, yeah, there you
So
go.
they'll be standing right in front of the bowl like this and they'll be cutting. Hate seeing anybody doing that because if they get a catch and that bowl comes off, it's going to go straight towards them. So you always want to be standing to the side if at all possible. Now, even at that, there's no guarantee that the bowl's not going to bounce off something, but it will give you more chance to move. And if you follow me on TikTok, I prove that.
Yes. Thanks for explaining that too, Scott. Or I mean, Steve. Sorry.
No problem. So I'm just putting a bit of a shape on this edge now. I'm kind of just curving it in. Now it is going to change because I've got quite a lot to take off the other side. But if I can do that while it's in the chuck this way, then I'm good. All right, I'm happy with that, with the shape of that. Let's flip that round now. Let's put the cold jaws in. So with cold jaws, I don't know if many people use cold jaws. I'll show you if you've not seen them before. I'm going to go as if we've got, we've got all types of levels of wood turners in this club. So a cold jaws is basically a way of holding a full-size bowl or flat piece of work. But with each set of cold jaws, there is different rules with speed. This is a cold jaw. It's a rough looking cold jaw. It's been through the battles, this one, because it was in a flooded shed, but still works. My maximum size is 10.5 inches, which is what I've got it set to. And it says on each of the jaws, maximum RPM 600. Don't turn it any more than 600. Now, there's a few reasons why you don't turn more than 600. A couple of the main reasons is, number one, those jaws are only made from an alloy, a very weak metal. They're a very soft alloy, and at high speeds, they can flex. Very slightly, but if they flex, they can let go of the bowl and they can throw them off. Also, your outer diameter is spinning very, very fast when you go to a bigger size. So if it is, you're only working from little buttons holding the workpiece. So if they let go, again, it can come off and it can be quite bad. And you never use these in reverse if you have reverse on your lathe. So they just go in like that. You have your buttons. I've already got these buttons set where I want them. You have your buttons set, and hopefully, if you've got them set, because I know that everybody that's got cold jaws spends ages setting buttons, and then they go to put their piece in, and it's like literally an eighth of an inch out, and you have to go and change it all over again. Hands up who's done that. So again, I've got that just placed in there loose. I'm going to bring up my tailstock again. To center my bowl. It's pretty good as it is, as it happens. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. There we go. And we're going to tighten that down. Now, another rule is that you don't over tighten these. Because what happened, and you want to make sure that they're all sitting square on the bowl, so you can give them a bit of a, if necessary, loosen it off a bit and adjust your buttons that they're sitting square on the edge of where you need to be. Check them all. This is a Record Power set. Now that will keep tightening and tightening and tightening because these are only rubber, and you think, oh, it's not tight enough. But what all that you're doing is you're distorting the rubber, and you'll lose grip on it. And what you're looking for when you're setting it is that you want the back of your, either the rim of your bowl or whatever you're putting in there, to be flat against those plates all the way around with no gap. So you know that it's flat against those plates and it's holding it tight. And hopefully, I always give it a bit of a pull test, where I'll hold the plate and I'll grab the bowl. You see that move slightly. So I haven't got that tightened enough. That's why I do the pull test. There's always like a sweet spot with these where they just bite enough.
Are those custom made bumpers, Steve?
No, they came with it. There came 3 different sets of bumpers with this set of jaws, and they had the little round buttons. They had the long rubber, I suppose, like dowels for wide walled pieces, and then they had these square, but these are tapered, so
yep,
you can
I see that.
Yeah, so you can see as it grips, it takes, because they're quite a nice soft, it takes the shape of, if I turn that,
Yeah, they look very useful. Yep, thanks.
It takes the shape. Now, you can get I tell you what works nicely on cold jaws is the door stop bumpers as well. Do you ever see the door stops that you put into floors that stop doors from banging into
yes,
banging into walls and things? They're great stoppers as well because they're slightly bigger. And what you can do is you can actually put them on the lathe and you can turn them down to a particular shape that you want too. Excuse me. Just going to take a drink. Excuse me. So I'm going to leave my tailstock up again, like I did before. And take away most of this bulk. I mean, we're going to be coming down quite a lot here because we've got this punky bit here. To be honest with you, I would probably if I was doing this on my own and I had a bit more time, I would probably leave that bit. I would carve this, and then I would carve this flat and drill 2 or 4 holes, and that's where the tops could be on that edge piece. So you could use it as like a storage for the tops. Now, with another way of doing it is I just drill 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I put the tops upside down in there, and that's how it stays as a kit. Right. Let's do some shaping. And remember, no more than 600 on the speed. There we go. Seems very slow, but that's what you got to work with to be safe. So I'm going to take off this front lip. Do you know what? I'm not. I'm going to do the pull cut again because it's the less aggressive. And I'm going to take this right away. And we'll work on the edge last. How are we doing for time, Dave?
You're doing wonderful, Steve.
Good. That's what I like to hear. I used to have a teacher that used to say that to me. You're a wonderful boy. You're a wonderful boy. The only thing is that she used to do it through gritted teeth. I don't know why.
At least you didn't say you were a blessed boy.
Yeah. Well, at least she didn't do what the rest of the teachers did as well.
Yeah, there's always that option, right?
Teachers were mean back then. Okay, so we're getting there. We're taking a good chunkety chunk out of that. Now, what you've got to remember is that you have gone down the other side. Now, I know I've got plenty of thickness there to play with, but just it is always something to consider when you are doing a two-sided dish, is that in the center, you could end up with a funnel, which could also be quite a good game too, because the tops could disappear into the center of the dome. Now, when I'm using cold jaws, I'm always looking at that back edge where it's against the plates. So when I'm turning, if you see that shift at all come away from the plates, you have to stop and reset it, because it will come off. It's not, there's no, it might come off. It will come off. Trust me. And you also get very tempted to bring up the speed because it feels slow. Don't do it. Just don't do it. I'm just going to keep looking at this. Yeah, I think I'm going to Let's see if I can take that out. Now with cold jaws, it's the edge here that you're most likely to have any problems. Because you haven't got the support of the chuck in the center. You're purely relying on those alloy plates not flexing. Now, I'm not sure. I think I've seen them, but I think you can get... Now, they're much more expensive, but I think you can get steel cold jaws, and they can go a little bit faster. But I stand corrected if not. There's also another gizmo. It's called is it Longworth?
Yes, Longworth chuck.
Yeah. And they're done. They're a 2-part twist lock. But I've heard a lot of horror stories with those, that they move and they can be very loose and unpredictable. Now, the reason why I'm using this piece of wood too is because it was the only piece of wood that I had that was big enough at the moment. I'm sure some of you are thinking, yeah, but hold on, Steve, there's that huge lump of ash behind you that you moved earlier. We saw it.
Huh.
That's not mine. It was purchased for a friend.
Possessions rule the law.
All right, we're good. We're gonna clear most of that away. We're gonna have enough thickness to do that. That inclusion that's there is almost pearl-like. It's very hardwood, or it was. It's not now. Now I can get more aggressive with my cut the closer I get to the center of the cold jaws, because I have the body of the chuck at the back of it. So you're pushing towards the chuck rather than flexing the plates on the outside. Just getting rid of bulk at the moment, so it's quite aggressive cuts. Still got good thickness. Okay. I'm just going to give my gouge a quick Sharpie sharpen. Has to be done.
The shavings will tell you.
Yep. And as I said earlier with my son, the heat will tell you too when it's hitting your hand when you're burnishing with the blunt edge.
Aye.
That's why when you're using carbide, you'll tend to get hot shavings off of it a lot. I just use the Pro Edge sharpening system. I've got it set to all the bevel angles that I use. I've actually just literally, now I'm turning 10 years. I've just started putting double bevels on my tools. So I'm just starting to shape now. Bouncy in the middle for some reason. Oh, we've got some different grain orientation just there. That's what's causing the bounce. And because I'm on cold jaws, normally if that was in a chuck, you'd be able to bring up your speed a little bit and you'd be able to overcome that. That's where the restrictions are with cold jaws. Now I'm leaving my tailstock up as long as I can. Just for that added safety. If you don't have to take it away, then why bother taking it away? Is
That's
my
right.
Is my rule of thumb.
If it's not in the way, leave it there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because of the fact, let me do the overhead here for a second and explain something. There's a nubbity nub here that's being supported by the tailstock. When I'm coming in here, I'm pushing against that nub and cutting, and that's putting force this way on the bowl. So if that tailstock wasn't there, so when I'm cutting all this wood away, I'm putting force this way, which is in theory flexing the bowl like this. It's trying to pull it out of the jaws. So when you're pushing, it's putting a lot of force on the outside edge here. So with your tailstock in position and stabbed into there, it's giving you that support to push against right until the last moment when you can remove that little nub and take away the tailstock, in which case then you're cutting towards the center of the bowl and you're not cutting at an angle. I hope that makes sense. It made sense in my head anyway. So I'm just going to get that knob down to there. I'm going to get this flattened here. And now we're going to do the whole straight edge thing. And if I'm pretty good with, it looks pretty good to me, but if I'm pretty good, then we can start creating just a very small wall here. I am aware that we could get a bit too thin if we put too much of a wall on it. So we've got a little bit of a, let me see. So there you go, you can see that. We've got a little bit of a dip from wall to center. It kind of dips here and then it's quite flat. It's quite flat in the center. So what we can do in theory, we can keep following that pattern, will be about right. But I want to just get my parting tool in again. I've still got just a little bit of a inclusion here that I want to get rid of. And once I've done that, we're going to create our wall again, this side, the same as we did the other side. But just while I'm here, I'm just going to bring in my tool rest and I'm just going to clean up that last little bit on the edge. And then I want to just round off the edge like we did the last time. No sharp edges for kids. Make sure that I got all that inclusion. There's a little bit there, but it's not going to harm anything. All right, back to the parting tool again. We're going to create a wall again, just here. Now, because this is the challenge side with obstacles, we're going to leave the wall just as a tiny little buffer. We're not going to make it too deep at all. We're going to go about there and round off that edge again like we did with the last one. That's as deep as I'm going to go with that. Okay.
How deep was that?
So I'm guessing probably about.
I know the question's coming.
3 or 4 mil. Let me see. I've gone down 3 mil.
Right on. 3 mil deep.
Yeah. And then I'm just going to continue that shape that we already had. So in theory, if I take 3 mil off all the way down here, simple math will say that we should still have the same shape, right? Okay. Have a look at that now. Yeah, we've got a nice gradual dip in there now. Just want to make it a little bit more prominent. Okay. So on this side, we're going to leave a little raised, just a tiny little. Now, we don't want to go any more than the height of the wall, but we want to leave a little button in the middle because that gives another little obstacle for the tops to bounce off in the center. But if you leave it more prominent than the outside wall, when you're playing on the other side, it's going to make the piece wobble. So you only want a tiny little button, the same as your wall on this side. If that makes sense. I'll show you anyway when we clean it off. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to do the same as I did the last time. I'm just going to clean what we have here off with the skew as a negative rake. Try and get rid of some of them horrible tool marks because I'm not a bowl gouge turner. I'll be the first to admit I can't get a perfect finish with a bowl gouge. So we use whatever tools we have in our arsenal to get our end result. It's not the journey, it's the end result, or the final destination. Is that the saying? I don't know.
Whatever we want to make it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the good thing about using a skewer is if you've got a nice flat front cutting edge, like you should have, you can see if there's any bumps or ridges.
Did you put a caveat in there like you should?
Okay. It's so tempting to turn that up, try and get a better cut. Please don't. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler, my straight edge. I'm going to come right across here, and then I'm going to mark on the edge of my nubbity nub so I know where the height is. And I know that I want to be a little bit lower than that mark, and all will be good in the hood. So now, before I take away my tailstock, I'm going to bring my tool rest up as close as, in fact, I'm going to go just underneath my nubbity nub. I'll show you that on the overhead. So I'm just underneath the knob, and I'm going to get a spindle gouge. This has quite an acute fingernail on it. That's a 40 degrees fingernail. Now you can actually hear it rubbing off the tool rest. That's okay, that's good. I want to get as close as I can get, and I'm going to start just nibbling away this knob. To the pencil line. Again, using the tailstock support. Now, the reason why I'm taking this right down as far as I can while I've got the tailstock is because the longer you're turning on them cold jaws without support, the more chance you've got of them letting go. There you go. That just broke actually, which is kind of cool. Saves me having to worry about it. Okay, so now this is where we take away the support. And make sure that we're good. It has sprung a little bit away from the plate, but now that we've got this done, as long as it holds it, all I'm doing is cleaning and shaping that little knob in the middle, and then we're going to do some sanding. No, we're not. We're going to do a little bit of grooves and things for the tops to ride over and kind of get stuck on. Okay, so I'm going to switch on again, make sure that we're good. Tool rest is a little bit high actually. I'll bring it down a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to start off by cleaning. Still too high. What the dog diggity? It must be getting late in the evening. Or morning, should I say.
Only in Ireland.
Yeah. Now, I'm not taking aggressive cuts at all on this now. I'm just taking very light cuts, not putting these jaws under any kind of pressure. And what I want to do is what I do with these little nubs is I also make them concave in the center. I didn't with the first one I did. I left it as a kind of button. And then my kids said, do you know what, Dad? If that was concave to the middle, you'd be able to spin a spinning top in just the center. So you listen to your kids and you redesign. So there you go, a little concave area there in the center. And the spinning top can spin in the middle. And then we've got our little button then for the top to bounce against and send it back out again. So I know this is a bit rough at the moment. Well, actually, do you know what? We're going to do a little bit of sanding while we can. And then we'll put our little ridges in. Dippity dippy dippy doo. We'll go with you. Yeah, we're on the sanding again. Is there any more questions?
No, there hasn't been any yet.
Okay.
Been asking them as they come through.
I must be doing something right. I've still got a few people watching. That's always a good sign.
84 of us, Steve.
Not so bad.
Can't wait to get to the part where you're spinning the tops.
I've got to see if I got a spinning top. I might have to might have to turn 2 very fast tops. They don't take long at all. A couple of minutes apiece. What's the fastest you guys have turned a top in? I'm sure you've done the challenge.
Well, tonight is very enjoyable, believe me.
Good.
A little over a minute, I think, from getting the piece on the lathe. I'm sure you could probably do it faster. You probably make more than I do.
I've made 1 or 2 million. All right. The thing is that when you do speed, you lose design, right? You're just turning a top to spin. You're not putting any kind of fancy into it. I'll tell you what I haven't mastered yet. Now, I haven't practiced too much, to be honest with you. But I haven't mastered a tippy toppy, which is the one that you spin and it goes up on its handle, or it can spin on its base as well. Do you know the ones I mean? You might call them something different in the States. Depending how you throw it, it can jump up onto its handle.
Yeah, we call them that too. And yeah, they're a little more complicated. You're right.
Yeah. It's all to do with the shape. I think they have to be pretty much spheres, as far as I know.
Yeah, I think that's correct. And the balance, the center of mass has to be shifted into the head.
Right.
Yeah. Ron just posted in chat that Cade Bulger did a demo of Tippy Top a little bit ago. He's absolutely right. That's exactly who I remember doing it too.
Okay,
yeah, so
cool.
it's out there on our YouTube if you want to see it done. So
I'll go and look that up for sure. I thought that was tear out, but it's not. It's burl. It's kind of burly. That's cool. It's a really pretty piece of wood. If only my kids would appreciate that.
get them in the shop and have them make some.
Oh, they do. They come in and they make stuff. That's cool. That's nice. All right. I'm happy with that. Look at this edge. Now you can put texture on these. You can put design. Texture works really well. I've done a couple with texture where you put some rings and put texture so that when the top goes over it kind of skips and stuff like that. You can really do any kind of obstacles and things that you want on them. There's no rules to it. Obviously, if you make them too bumpety and lumpety, the spinning tops just jump right off of the dome, and the kids are like, well, what's the point in that, Dad?
Sounds like you've been there a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going back to the PlayStation.
You got some high expectations there, Steve.
Now, leaving your I find when you're doing this kind of thing, leaving your tailstock, your tool rest there is kind of cool to run your drilling pad across. It keeps it in a nice steady movement, and it stops it from pulling the drill out of your hand. There we go. That's nice. As they say here in Ireland, good enough for a country job.
We call it over here good enough for government work.
Okay.
Country job would be way too superior.
All right, I'm happy with that. Happy with that. Give it a psh, psh, psh. Yeah, that's cool. Now I'll sand that centerpiece in a second. Now, so this is where we're just going to put a couple of quick rings into it. I'm going to use my skew to do it. I want to get that on center. And basically all we're going to do is we just put, again, we're going to put our starting point. About 5 million and then about a 10 mil gap. And go there. And now this time we're going to we'll put maybe a ring kind of down here. But we'll make it a little bit deeper. Just enough that it makes the top kind of do a bit of a skip. And then we'll probably put another one here, but we're going to put a double one. So a small one there and then a small one there. Just like that. And all it does is it just makes the top kind of do a little bit of a skip. You can make them as deep as you want. You can actually make them into beads if you want. That's all I'm going to do with that one just for tonight because just because of time. And again, we'll just use this just to burnish off any little tufty tufts. All these technical terms you're learning tonight, folks. All right. Take away the tool rest.
Steve, you really want to impress us? You spin that top with that thing still on the lathe.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, if I could define gravity like that, I would make a lot of money.
Oh Lord, right? Just got to do it one time. Catch it on camera.
I mean, I could do it if you give me a day or two with fancy editing software, but
uh-huh. A little bit of AI deep fake.
Yeah, exactly. We use the dreaded AI. Now, that's good. I'm happy with that. Now,
I am too.
So, what I'll do very quickly, just because it's like the most exciting part of your lives, I'm just going to put some oil on there for you.
No, the sanding was the exciting part. This will be great because we get to see the wood come to life.
I should have blown it off again, but sure, look, it's all good. That is actually a really pretty piece of wood. Now these are great. You can sell these at markets. They're really good for Christmas markets. As a kind of a novelty toy, handmade toy. And also, if you're somebody that makes and sells a lot of spinning tops at craft fairs, all you need to do is make yourself one of these battle domes and have it at the side of your stall when you're selling the spinning tops. Because I guarantee you, if the kids can come and have a battle, other kids will see them having a battle and they'll want to go. And of course, they don't have their own spinning top. So what they got to do, they got to buy a spinning top off you. That's marketing for you, folks.
Yeah. Like cholesterol-free peanut butter.
Now that is a lovely, pretty bit of wood. Now I'm only going to oil that part of it just for now, but isn't that pretty? Now, let's take it off of there. And we'll use the correct chuck key. There we go. So now if we've done it right, it should sit. I've got a dooflopper ding dong over here that I can slide on here. And that will sit flat that way. And then you can flip it over and it will sit flat that way as well. So you've got two battle domes.
So your nub on the backside, Steve, your nub is lower than the rim.
Exactly right. Yeah. So that's why I put the ruler across and marked just the main nub when I had my tailstock up, just to make sure that I made it lower than my outside walls.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm going to put that over here for now, and we'll turn a spinning top very quickly. And have we got time to do that, or do you want me to see if I can find a spinning top around here? And
I think we've got time for you to quickly
go ahead
one.
Okay.
Go ahead and do it, Matt.
Yeah,
Steve.
I'm not doing it, Steve. You already, or Dane, you already did that to me once.
Yeah, whatever your name is.
Go ahead, Billy Bob.
Transferred electronically to him, right?
Yeah.
Right? That should work.
All right.
Only takes 5 minutes. No pressure.
Or less.
No pressure.
No. You don't have the show Blue Peter in the States, but here's one I prepared earlier.
We already know what it means due to repeated influence from the UK.
Oh, okay.
So you be Blue Peter this one all you want.
So these are blanks that I have lying around when I do kids' craft parties with my creator van. I bring the small lathe and the kids can turn their own spinning tops. Just want to get that more central. That'll do. We'll straighten it up. All right.
Yeah, that's what the skew's for.
We're gonna. All righty. That's the quietest I've been all night.
Deep in thought. Transferring that high spin top from the brain to the tool to the piece of wood.
I was actually thinking, I wonder how many spinning tops I've turned in my wood turning career. It's a lot.
Right.
Why?
Just like that. Okie dokie. Look at that. That's good, isn't it? Battle Dome time.
Battle Dome time.
The trick is that you start up here and it should slowly wander to the center.
Hmm.
I've got a big one here. Look at this. We're big versus small.
My money's on big.
I was trying to guide it with my mouse. I don't know if it helped or not.
Never touch
and then we can flip it over. And then you can watch it try and navigate the bumps. You see it kind of throws it when it hits a bump.
Oh no. Don't go beyond this line.
Now, I mean, you can make a shallow. This has got quite a steep tip, but some of them, it will actually, if you give it a good spin, it will ride over those bumps. See, that just hit it and it will ride over the bump. See, that jumped over it and then came back, but it's kind of cool. And then, like I say, in the middle, because we put that little concave bit in the middle, it'll just keep the spinning top in the middle. Just like that.
It's not kind of cool. It's really cool.
So there you go. That is a spinning top battle dome for you.
Very fun.
Excellent demonstration, Steve.
Great demo, Steve.
Believe me,
Thank you very much.
Very, very enjoyable evening for sure. Very enjoyable.
Indeed. So
Nice.
Steve, can you run through all the critical dimensions for the project?
Critical dimensions, yeah, as big as you can make it, and make sure it dips. That's yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those projects.
Pretty critical.
Yeah, it's one of those projects that you can experiment with. It's literally just a really shallow plate or bowl, and then you can add little dips where it drops down, so it goes further into a little pool in the middle. You can do any kind of design you want with them. To be honest with you, there's no real strict rules to it.
Yeah,
But
it looks like we might have lost. Now you're back.
Oh,
now you're back.
Am I back? Yeah.
But you know what? The idea itself is such a good idea. I mean, there's a lot of us that have grandkids. There's a lot of us that like just understand how funny that and how fun it could be. You know, so
yeah, it's something that you could just leave in the lounge or wherever, and the kids grab hold of it whenever they want. And they can play with it on their own. They can play with friends. They could have a whole box of spinning tops there for when their friends come round, and they could put all we do in our house is we put a little red dot, blue dot, green dot on the top of the spinning top, so they know which one's theirs, and then they just battle them. And like I say, with most of them, I drill 4 holes, one there, one there, one there, and one there, and then we put the spinning tops upside down inside the holes, and that's how we store it.
Huh.
Oh,
very cool.
Really, really, really good.
Thank you.
Great demo, Steve.
Thank you for that.
Oil the rest of it.
Very, very enjoyable evening. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Do we have any more questions for Steve?
It's something a little different, to the norm.
Right.
Very true.
Well, once again, we appreciate you inviting us into your shop, taking the time to put together a well thought out demo for us. It's definitely going to be something that I'm going to add to my repertoire for what I do with tops, because I make a lot of tops and sell to the as I was saying in the chat, to the party crowd. The youngsters like using it as their form of quarters.
Right.
So to each their own on that, so it's, good, honest, fun. It's clean. Nothing wrong with that. So I appreciate it. I think it's a neat project, and I'm sure others are going to do the same.
And like I said, if you're somebody that does a lot of craft fairs, if you and you own a laser either, I mean, Billy, if you made one of these, you could laser Battle Dome or whatever into it and leave it at the side of a craft fair and put a little sign up saying "Battle your tops," and the kids love it. They'll be there,
right,
playing away on it. And this is a very dry piece of wood. It's just going,
sure.
Feed me.
Right. All right. Well, with that, there's no other questions regarding the demo. Matt, let's go back. We've got enough time to run through 3-4 gallery items before the top of the hour.
Okay, are you gonna get that tool out to show, or do you want to wait on that?
No, let's do the gallery items first, and then I'll show the tool.
Okay.
Because there's folks been waiting to show their pieces.
Thanks again, Steve.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Next up is Ray Davis. Then, what you got, Ray?
Well, it's been about 3-4 months since I've shown anything, so I guess I better show something tonight. Another segmented bowl. I let you look inside there.
Nice.
So this is kind of a southwestern. Wished it had a little more color, but a lot of things in the Southwest aren't very colorful, so it worked out very well.
My God. My God.
Very pretty. Looks good, Ray.
Oh my God.
See if that shows up a little better. Not really. Cut that out.
Very well done, Ray. I could never do anything like that. I wouldn't have the
Yeah.
patience for one thing.
Same.
Gorgeous.
That's just awesome.
Great
It's
looking piece.
got,
So can I ask you how many segments per ring?
72 segments per ring, and you can see they get pretty small down here at the
That's what I'm looking
bottom.
at.
Yeah, and there's 2,683 segments in there. It's maple, walnut, cherry, and canary.
How do you realize which each ring is going to make and turn to make the I just
You
it's
froze
just
up, or is it me?
You have to draw it out.
Oh yeah.
You have to have a program to lay it all out for you, or do it by hand. I used to do it by hand, but now I use a program, and I can show you real quick what that might look like.
You okay?
Just a second. That's kind of my map that I use. You can see it looks like straight lines, but when you put them in curves, you get the effect that I just showed on the bull.
Right.
But I have to lay that out. And then to simplify it for myself, I come up with a spreadsheet that looks something like this. I don't know if you can see that.
You got the angle, segments,
That
thickness.
was
length,
exactly
etc.,
the way.
right?
Pardon, I didn't hear that.
I said that lays out your segment length, width, angle, etc., right?
Absolutely. And how many pieces go on each one of those rows. There's
yes
38 rows of 72 pieces each that goes in to make that. And each row is about 0.15 inches thick. So I do about 2, maybe 3 rows a day at most. And my fingers get sore, and that's all I do.
My brain's already sore just looking at it. Wow.
I'll tell you what. I have been dabbling, and well, that's a lot more than dabbling. Gosh,
yeah,
my good. That's
nice,
Ray. That's really pretty. That's really pretty, Ray.
Thank you.
Appreciate
it. Thank you for looking at it.
Lovely.
My God.
Absolutely lovely.
It is. It really is.
And I cut that at about 1,200 to 1,400 RPM.
How many hours did you spend getting that all glued together before, and then turned?
That's hard to say. I've been working on this particular bull for almost 3 months, and that's because I had a couple weeks of vacation, a period of time I wasn't feeling well. So how long it takes me, I really don't know. But like I say, 3 rows a day is about all I can get on it. You can see how small those segments are.
Yeah, they're tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you said 73 per row. That's a lot.
72.
So I'm sorry. So,
yeah, who's counting?
But who's counting, right?
I mean, no.
Right?
I mean,
Oh my goodness.
if anybody's even dabbled with that, I mean, yes, there's a lot of questions.
That's the money shot.
Oh, that's so pretty.
That's the money shot. The inside.
That's so pretty.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you looking at it.
Well, we appreciate you sharing it.
Thank you, Ray.
That's all I got.
If something like that ain't worth $2,500, it ain't worth the nickel.
right?
Yeah, probably I wouldn't sell it for less than 3,500.
Okay, better even.
Well, 35. Yep.
Yeah.
Inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
inflation.
With the time you've got in it, you'd have to get that much.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be minimum wage or less than minimum wage.
Yeah, it's not even that doesn't even encompass the time in it, Dale.
Yeah. In New York, the minimum wage now is $15 an hour. So yeah, $3,500 wouldn't even make minimum wage.
Yeah. So
crazy.
Outstanding.
Well, I got to figure out something new to come up with.
You always do.
Yep.
Thanks, guys, for looking.
All right, Ray.
All right, next up is we got Howard. You're on, Howard.
We got you.
Yeah. You, Howard.
man, Roll Tide. I got to follow that guy.
Yes, you do.
I'm just.
There's a lot of hard acts. There's a lot of hard acts to follow, and you're one of them, Howard.
Tonight has been just awesome. Matt had all that stuff, and Ruby, and man, I'm ashamed to even show this. This is a piece of mahogany, a little flatter looking thing, and
yeah, you should just send that to me. I'd be ashamed of it too.
I'd try to burn it.
That looks
I'm thinking about it
great, Howard.
After seeing what Ruby does.
Don't listen to those guys. That looks super.
It does look super.
It looks really good.
That inlay looks pretty good.
Howard's just really humble.
Pretty. Thank you for helping.
I'd like to eat one of those star cookies.
Oh, thanks for helping my feelings. I feel better now after that. So, yes. But anyway, this is mahogany, and here's the back side of it.
Wow. Very nice, Howard.
Job.
Good job.
Great job.
All right.
Very
Thank
nice.
You. All right.
stuff.
And after Howard is Mr. Al. If I can get him to start his video.
Oh no, not Al. Al.
Yeah,
start your
video. He turned himself off again.
All the time.
Al.
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you weren't there a minute ago.
Oh no! Why does it always do that when it comes up like that? I hope Wayne and Martin are still on. Well, first of all, Ruby says, Al, here's another one for you. So
that's cute.
Oh, cute.
Good job, Al.
No, it's not what you did. You had all the stuff on here, and yours come off even. I watched some of the video. And,
yeah, but yours is an American one. That's okay.
Believe me, really,
you're
so cool. You're so cool. I hope Martin is still on. Martin, are you on? I mean, he says the word. He says the word Pinocchio.
And you got her done. Look at that. Wow.
Cool.
All right. You'll be happy then. We will too.
I mean, yeah. No.
You could actually add some strings to that and make it
Have you taught him to dance?
Say that? What?
You can add strings to it and actually make it into a puppet.
Absolutely.
What was his name? Giuseppe? What was his name?
Geppetto?
Geppetto, yeah.
Yes. No,
Giuseppe. Geppetto.
This seems inappropriate that I show this right now. If Martin is not here. Martin, you're not here. Martin, are you here?
Martin's not on.
Oh my. Anyway, he does this
next
thing.
week too.
He makes these things he calls bobbies, and he has it looks like a clown, and there's a a clock on some of them. Some of them have like a little stereo speaker. Well, yeah, he was so nice to me last week. I was going to give him a black tie. This is. Can
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the picture.
Perfect. There we go.
Martin's face under.
That's funny.
So, I mean,
That's
Martin,
great, Al.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you so much.
Gotta definitely show it to him next week when he's on.
Yeah. I mean, when I was talking to him earlier, and
hold it back,
Dane,
hold it back towards you.
Dane, you heard me say to him, I have something goofy I want to show you. I thought you put me on the list.
We did, but we didn't get to everybody because everything was so long last week.
But he has such kind words to me. This is now what I want to say to him. I mean, he has a clock, he has a speaker. Well, it could be it could be a picture frame. It could be like what I'm showing right now. It could be actually this is a trophy to him. So I got his face right there, and I thought he would be here.
There you go.
I'm sure he'll love to see it. When he's on next week, you'll have to show him. Or get on one of his lives. That's great. I love it.
I mean, he makes them. He calls them bobbies. All week I've been calling this here Martin.
All right, hold on a minute. Let me take a screen. Hold it up. Let me take a screenshot. Hold it back towards you.
That's all right.
All right. So I'll send it to him. He'll get a kick out of it.
It's a Martin Bobby.
So just so people have a reference here, this is a picture of Martin's bobbies.
Right. Thank you.
They're called Bobby clocks.
Right. It's so cool. I mean, it was such a good evening last week. All the stuff he said.
Yeah, he said some very kind things about you. It was cool.
Yeah. I mean,
he's very
black.
He's very
tie.
impressed by all the stuff you've tried. So, yep, that's well done.
Yeah, his Bobby, but this week it was called Martin in my shop.
I love it.
I was hoping that you were going to hit on me earlier. But anyway, thank you so much, everybody. Everybody have a good night. Continue.
All right, that's it. That's all we got for gallery. If anybody else has gallery, let us know in chat. Over to you, Dane.
All right. I'll highlight myself.
Gotcha.
Right on. So a couple months ago, I had the need for a really small spindle gouge for some drawer pulls that I was making. And so at the moment, I wasn't smart enough to check my drawer where I keep my high-speed steel at. And so in a pinch, I took, and I've showed this before, and I made one out of a high-speed drill bit. And so this is based on Tomislav out of Croatia that makes these. And so at the top, it has a slight hollow ground in it. And you can see that based on the shiny around the edges where the cutting surface is up on the bevel. And then the hollow grind is obviously black. And
how did you get the grind? How'd you do the hollow grind, Dane?
Literally just putting it up on your grinding wheel.
Okay.
And working it back and forth. And it's just ever so slightly. It's maybe a 0.5 millimeter.
Is that on the back end of the drill bit?
This here is, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep. And then after I did that job, which worked perfectly, it cuts like a skew but handles like a spindle gouge, and it allows you to to get in those really tight toes that I was up against. Hence the reason why I had to fabricate that. And then I remembered, oh crap, I've got some 5mm high-speed steel, and so I made it. My only problem with it is the steel is so damn shiny, and what I need to do is get some anodize to anodize the steel so I know which end is up.
Coming. No.
And so the same thing. Did the hollow grind on the front bevel, and then I do the grind on the back side, and it's got the same cutting action as a skew, except it's in a spindle shape formation, I suppose. And for doing small cows and getting those nice crisp lines, because if you got to hit it with sandpaper, now you've lost those nice crisp lines and details. It's just hard to beat it.
What's your bevel angle, Dane? What's your bevel angle?
Right there.
Okay. So it's pretty steep. Okay.
It
Thanks.
looks like about a 30-degree bevel.
No, it's probably
35.
Well, it's steeper than 45.
Well, yeah, it's got to be like 35 because
it's less than that.
My detail gouge is.
Oh God! Here, let me put a
pretty similar.
So I don't. When I sharpen stuff, I grind to what works for me.
Sure.
There is no magic. But
if you've got something that works and we want to repeat your grind, we'd like to know the
sure. Yeah. I hear you. I'm just saying I haven't measured it, so I have no idea. It's probably around 30, 35.
Cool. Thanks.
It's 41 degrees.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Dane.
Cade, see?
Sure looks steeper than that.
Doing like what I was doing earlier, talking to somebody else.
Yeah, I'm too tired. It's too hot here. It's addling my brain.
Yeah, hey, don't get me started on hot. But yeah, so that's the Tomislav little tool he makes, and of course he makes them bigger and uses them full on as a spindle gouge skew cutting gouge, and for myself it's just solely as a specialty tool to be able to get in for tight cows and cows with fillets attached to them. So that's where I'm at on them. Then nice little handle. You put either one in. And tighten it up.
Very nice. It's a cool idea.
You're good to go.
You're good.
Make them interchangeable whenever you can. And so that's it. So we got 8 minutes left. So if somebody else has got a gallery item, we can do one, possibly two more items before the official meeting ends.
All right. Well, I can jump in here real quick. I got one more to show. One more work in progress.
There you go. Oh, Joaquin's got one.
Oh, very nice.
All right. Okay.
That's cool, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been playing with a lot of different that kind of stuff, but we'll go to Joaquin. Absolutely.
All right, I got it.
Okay. Hey, yeah, I've been admiring your work on Facebook. Looking good. Been admiring your work on Facebook, man. All that carving you're doing has been good.
I've been having a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Hopefully, I've inspired other people to do some.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joaquin.
Do that. This piece of Jennifer, really twisted piece. It wasn't smooth here for this natural edge, so it's really got a crazy opening in it. But it was twisted. It wasn't round on this bark side, and it's red cedar. It's not really shown up well here, but Anyway,
Oh, pretty.
We had James Carter come to our club last meeting we had out of San Antonio, and he's one of the easy wood turner demonstrators, and he demonstrated that easy wood tool beading tool, and so he did a bow with beads on it. So that's our challenge for next month. And so I had this piece of Texas ebony that it was half turned, and I went ahead and finished it and put some. Of course, I didn't use a beading tool. This is with a spindle gouge out of Texas ebony, and so,
beautiful.
Yeah, I'm about to run out of this stuff. I don't have much more left, but this is one of my one I'll put in the challenge and probably do a couple more. But that's what I have.
Nice.
Looks great. Very nice, Joaquin.
Thank you.
I love that Texas ebony.
I do.
You know where you can get some more. That's our good friend down in Kingston.
I don't think it's growing anymore. I think that frost back in 2018 killed them all.
Well, we had a big freeze, and any of it you get, the pit's rotted out on the inside. You can't find any of it that's solid on the pit. Not many left around here.
I've got two growing in my yard, but they ain't very big, and they're looking more like shrubs than anything else.
So I got that finished up while you were showing gallery there, Dane. I turned a matching top just to
there we go.
Finish up the set.
Let's see.
So
let me get you highlighted here, Steve. There we go.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah,
those are beautiful. Those are beautiful, Steve.
You did an awesome job.
Yep.
What kind of wood is that, Steve?
So the tops are cedar.
And your powder?
That's a mystery wood, but I'm thinking it could be a piece of beech.
Looks great.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Could it be beech?
Yeah, I think it could be, but it's the figure in it is. I'm wondering, was it maybe a cross section of a crotch, because it seems to have a lot of different variations in the grain. So.
Right.
Yeah, there's almost some flame in that right side.
Yeah, and this here is very burly too.
It's certainly an amazing piece of wood. Very nice.
It is.
Yes, it's. I managed to get the whole thing oiled up there, so it's it's very cool.
It's gorgeous. Got some spalting in it too.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Lovely jubbly.
Hey Steve, that it was a very enjoyable evening. Very enjoyable.
Thanks. My kids will have more fun with it tomorrow.
We aim to please.
It was enjoyable. Yeah. Lots of good stuff in gallery. Is a good night. You know, way before Beyblades, they had another top battling arena toy. I back when I was growing up, maybe in the 60s or 70s or something. But my brothers and we all had tops, and that's good fun.
Can I get a sound check? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Steve. Anybody else have anything to show us?
Thank you. I'm going to head off now, guys, because it's like 3 a.m. here. So I'm going to head off to bed. Thanks for having me again, and I'll see you.
Nice, Steve.
Our pleasure. Thanks for doing the demo. It was good.
All right. Night, everybody.
Good night, Steve.
Hey, Matt, I got some new paint for you to check out.
All righty. You know I'm can't wait. Just when I need new paint.
Highlight me, I can show you.
Your video's not on, Scott. All I see is your
Oh,
name.
hang on. It's been cutting in and out.
We're looking at Joaquin.
Yeah, he keeps bouncing in and out, so it's really hard to find him to highlight him.
Here, let me try it.
I don't even see him. Oh, there he is.
There he is. He's
All right, what's
highlighted.
the paint, Scott?
Called Luminary.
I'm pretty sure I have some of that. You told me about this before. You told me about this before.
This is new. This is something I just bought over the weekend.
Jacquard in the air.
Yeah, let me add me in here. There you go, Scott.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Have you tried any of the other colors, Matt?
Yeah, I use some of the blue, and yeah, I have a whole bunch of them. So,
have you bought the ones that are non-metallic?
Hey,
I don't know. I have to look through them. No, I did. All the ones I have are metallic, I think.
Hello.
I heard
some
hear
of
me.
they've got like two colors in them.
Oh,
Billy, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you, Dave.
Okay, that means everybody else can too. Okay, I was just asking, just.
So it comes in 33 available in 33 colors, Matt.
Yeah, but each one of these has got like two colors in them. Like this one has got is pearl and magenta, and I can see there's like two different colors in it.
The ones I have, the ones I have,
I got
Matt,
like 4 or 5 bottles of that, and they're all weird like that.
Yeah. Halo Pink Gold.
Yeah. I got it for using in resin.
Are you supposed to shake them or not?
Yes. According to what I got here, yes.
Yes.
I actually got the brochure from the company.
No, that's interesting. It's very interesting.